this video. If you're new here, my name is Shannon. I am a thrifter and a reseller on the Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Etsy, and Depop apps. I'm all over the place and I've been selling for quite a while. I was full-time and I'm part-time for the time being. You can read more about my story below. So I have quite a bit of knowledge about sales and how to make more sales, and I've learned a lot over time, and I'm still learning all the time. And I learn a lot from YouTubers and resellers. I'm gonna pop up my Poshmark stats over here somewhere for you guys. I have made over $21,000 on Poshmark on the app, and that is after fees. Most of this is from the last, basically from June 2019 to currently. I was on the app since 2017, but very, very part-time. Probably only made maybe a few $100s, if even. So the majority of this is from when I was full-time to current. So the categories we're gonna divide this video into today are listing, sharing, customer service, and then some other random strategies. So the first thing I want to say is that you will find a lot of these videos on here that talk about how to increase sales, and so many of the things and the information you hear are true. What is very true is that the more you list, the more you sell. Make sure to have really good photos. The more you share on Poshmark, the more you will sell. So I'm gonna kind of break those down for you guys. Listing. I would highly recommend using a cross-listing service, and if you guys aren't familiar, there are many that offer free trials. There are a few different ones. Vendoo, I'm forgetting the names of the other one, but I'll try to pop some up here, and they are really user-friendly. I have used Vendoo before. I don't pay for it currently, but I probably will pay for it when I go back full-time. It basically brings all of your listings from all of your sites together, and it will tell you what exactly you have listed on which site and which ones you have to still cross-list, and it basically does it for you. So it'll copy and paste everything for you, and it makes it really easy to do, and it makes it a lot easier to make more sales, because the more listings you have on multiple platforms, the more you will sell. So if you're not considering listing on more than one platform and you want to make more sales, I definitely would consider it. Of course, that's your choice. I know it can be hard to keep up with multiple platforms, but I think for me it has been really worth it. You just have to be strategic, and you have to remember to take items down basically as soon as they sell, or you risk the chance of forgetting and having it sell twice, which has happened to me before. So in terms of listing and photos, you'll hear it all the time, and it is so true. Good photos are everything. Good lighting. I'm sitting in front of a ring light right now. You don't necessarily need one, but it helps extremely. This has changed my complete business, because I can now list after a certain time, you know, in the winter, and it's so much easier. I used to, when I started out reselling, I did flat lays. There's nothing wrong with flat lays, but for me personally, I think most buyers, and me thinking of it as a buyer myself, I prefer to see something on someone's body, either your body, whether you're modeling it or it's a mannequin. I think either is fine. It's your preference, and I know modeling clothes can be a lot more work. So I definitely, most buyers I think want to see the item actually on a body and kind of envision it better than how it looks laid out flat on the floor. So that is a tip for you, is to model items if you can, or get a mannequin so that buyers can really envision the item on a body. And what to list. Listing seasonal and holiday appropriate items is really helpful. So an example right now, I just recently listed a St. Patrick's Day t-shirt. I made sure to put that in the title. Those keywords will really help your sales. It has not sold yet, but it's had interest. So I think it will sell before St. Patty's Day. Let's hope. Just think about what's coming up. Easter, you know, if you have like any of those Ray Dunn, seasonal, Easter, you know, decorative items, things like that are really selling and very hot right now. So those are the kind of things to think about, and making sure to put Easter or St. Patty's Day, whatever it might be, in the title. Another tip for listing that is Poshmark specific, they came out with a recent feature that I really like, the copy listing feature. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about how to use that feature, and it's relatively easy, and it's really helpful because you can basically go and just click copy listing, and it will copy everything for you, and then you can just list it. So it makes it easy. Say you've already sold something in the past and you're going and you have that item again, you can just go to your old listing and copy it and resell it. Or if you bought an item from Poshmark and say it didn't fit or you weren't loving it, you can go to their listing and copy it and list it. So it makes it really easy to get your listings out there, and it also makes it really easy to relist, which is my next tip. Relisting is really helpful to make sales. So like I said in the beginning, the more you list, the more you sell. When I was full-time, I really tried to list 10 to 15 a day. That was really hard for me because I don't have a Goodwill outlet near me, which is where you pay by the pounds for items, so I didn't always have that many items to list. So what I would do is I would list like 5 new items if I only had 5, and then I would relist 5 more using the copy listing on the Poshmark app. So what I would do is I would go to one of my listings, I might update some photos, maybe refresh them, that's always a great idea, and then I would click copy listing and I would copy it and just redo it so that it really helps the algorithm think that it's a new listing, and the more you list, the more you sell. Okay, this is a tip that I haven't really seen out there so far, so I thought I would really mention it. When listing, I like to use an app called Pic-Collage. It is free, and I'm not sure if it's iPhone and Android. I have an iPhone, but I like to show certain items that have really unique features on the back of the item that you can't see from the main photo. I like to put them side by side, and I do think that that has really helped my sales. I'll show you guys a recent sale. I just sold last night a pair of Sorel boots I'm selling for my sister, and they sold for $100 plus shipping on eBay very quickly, and I used Pic-Collage to put the picture of the actual boots next to the stock photo, and I really do think that helped because you can really see the item on someone's feet. Stock photos are a little controversial, and it really is your own. It's really up to you if you want to use them. You do have to be careful because some of them can get removed by eBay. I have never personally had one removed by Poshmark. Let me know in the comments if that's a thing for you guys. I've never had it happen to me. Certain brands are strict about it and they don't like you using them. So if that happens, eBay does notify you via email, and then I just go and edit the listing and fix it, and everything's all good. But I've sold many items with stock photos, and in my opinion, it has helped my sales. So it is something to consider, but I can definitely understand why people, why some people might not want to use that. Listing tip is when listing to try to find the exact style name. So you can check the tag, the pull-out tag on the interior of the item usually tells you the fabric, and it will say some kind of style name. Each brand is different in what that number will mean. You can look up like how to find a Free People style name, and there's tons of videos on YouTube for you here, so I won't go over that too much, but finding the exact style name and listing that in your title can really help the item sell, because if someone's going to search for that very exact style, for example, this 𝗵𝗪ology cardigan that I'm wearing, if they were to go search for this exact 𝗵𝗪 cardigan and my listing came up because I used it in the title, it might really help that item sell. So I like to use the style name in my listing. On to sharing tips. So for sharing, it's just like listing. Going back to the whole idea of the algorithm, Poshmark, eBay, all of these sites really like when you're active on the app. So Poshmark especially is a very community-based app. It's very, very time consuming. You have to share, you have to list. Doing both of those things daily is really best for your sales. So what I love to do is use a sharing service. I just started using a new sharing service called Poshmark Sidekick. I'm going to do a whole separate video on it, hopefully this week, on how many shares I can do in my specific closet and the amount of minutes. I was really impressed with it. It is a great app, and I'm using the free version, so it made it really easy, and it's a free version, and then you can pay, I think it's $20 a month, and it turns your it's a Google Chrome extension, so it will turn your Poshmark closet into an easy to click, so basically you can share by just clicking, is my best way of describing it. So I'll do another video on that, but I highly recommend using a sharing service, especially if you're doing this part-time. Know what I think about that in my next video. So stay tuned and make sure to subscribe. So my next sharing tip is to share at opportune times. Early morning, afternoon, during lunchtime. Specifically, I like to share anywhere from 12 to 1:30, and ideally late at night. For me, I try to share at like 6:30, anywhere between that timeline. Again at 8, and then again, if I'm up, which usually I'm not, at around 10 p.m. to 11. So during the last Poshmark party is a really good time to share. A lot of people are on the app. and I get a lot more likes and notifications and comments and people asking questions when I do that late night share. I recommend sharing your own closet first, and multiple people have said this before, to share your own closet first and then others. But the longer I've been doing this, the more I've been doing also community shares, at least, you know, a couple a day, because I do think Poshmark just likes to see that constant activity. So I think it's good to mix it up and do a bit of both. So my last category is about customer service, and it's something that is probably one of the hardest things if you're doing this like full-time or as an actual business, treating it seriously, even if you're doing it part-time. You know, customers can be hard, but I think it's really important to have good customer service in order to make good sales. So my first tip is to get back to people really quickly with questions, as quickly as you can. Even if I can't get back to them, if I'm not home and someone asks me a question, I always make sure to respond, and I just say, hey, thanks so much for looking. I'm not home right now, but I'll be home around this time, and I'll get those measurements for you as soon as I can. And I think people appreciate that because they usually do respond saying thank you, and then I'll go back later and get them those measurements. So I think that that's really important. Another customer service tip for you guys is something that I like to do is to comment on people's bundles when they start bundling. So if you know anything about Poshmark, you know that people can create their own bundles. Sometimes people just do that kind of as they're browsing and they're not really seriously thinking about buying the item. So I will just go in there and comment a quick little comment like, hey, thanks for looking. Let me know if you have any questions. I ship daily, something like that, so that they know that I ship daily and that I'm here if they have any questions. And I have had good responses from that. People usually answer, or they'll just say, hey, thanks for letting me know. I'm just browsing today, but I might shop this weekend. They'll just let me know what they're doing. So the last category is just some random strategies that have helped me. So number one is I like to send out offer to likers on basically my entire closet. So this is a really time-consuming strategy, but it is worth it. And it also is depending on the individual. Like, I don't like to hold on to items for a long time. So if something's been sitting in my closet for a long time, I don't mind getting less for the item than I originally planned for, because in my mind it's worth it because I'm not storing the item longer in my house. So I do see really good sales from that. I can usually make a few hundred a weekend if I really sit down and do that, but it is very time-consuming. So, and I do see like a lot more activity when I do that. Is send out offers on all of your bundles, or at least the most recent ones, because if you sent them out on all the bundles, it would take you forever. But I like to do this once a weekend. I just go through casually and I send out a couple offers on the latest bundles that people have made themselves. And I actually did get a sale from that last week, so that was really nice. The person had countered me and I had accepted. Okay. The third tip is to advertise on Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram for your Poshmark closet or your eBay store, whatever it might be, your business, I would highly recommend starting one. It helps immensely, and I think in this day and age, you really should be trying to utilize social media to make more sales. I think if you're planning on doing this full time, utilizing social media to make more sales is really crucial, in my opinion. I also love Instagram and the community. I don't spend a lot of time on there because it can get really, it can become a negative thing too if you're comparing yourself to others, so I would use it sparingly, but I think at least going on and advertising your newest listings or liking a few people's things to get like people over to your Instagram is a great thing. My Instagram is @ShandySells. I'll put that down here so you guys can go follow me. My last strategy for more sales is to consider selling for people on consignment. And so what this means is that people will give you items to sell, and then you'll kind of split the commission, whatever way it might be for you guys. For me, I do this with my sister. We split commission 50-50 after fees, so not the price before fees. And that has worked out really well for us. So that's something to consider doing. And another thing with that is, even though they're not my items that I'm listing, we're splitting commission. It helps my other items get into the search too, because the algorithm likes when you're constantly listing. So the more you list, the more you sell. And I could be listing some of her items that day and one of my items will sell. And it just helps, you know, the whole thing just goes around and around, and it makes for good sales. So I hope you guys got something from this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out my little channel grow. I'm almost at 900 subscribers, so click that button down below. I'm 10 away from 900, so I would really appreciate your support. And thanks so much for watching. Comment below and let me know what your tips are for selling, and hopefully we can all learn from each other.